The title of this one is Pat on Track. The Shenandoah Valley is a beautiful place, but back before around the 1960s, it was a gorgeous place. Stupidity and greed has been destructive there, just like all across America. In the late 40s and early 50s, I couldn't wait to leave there. However, looking back, I had experienced much that many never do, as well as being around some of the most beautiful landscape agriculture in America, plus a diverse group of characters with many talents and trades. I would argue that the Shenandoah Valley the true Shenandoah Valley runs from northeast at around Winchester to southwest around Stanton, Virginia. The towns are about 4 to 8 miles apart through the valley. My guess is that you have been through the valley, but most likely on I-81 and not on US 11. If that being the case, you have missed the many interesting towns like Strasburg, Tonsbrook, Woodstock, Mount Jackson, Newmarket, and Harrisonburg, and their residents with names like Dingledine, Hassenflug, Moulton's Wine, Didewick, Puffenberger, Painter and the Sheets, etc. Those towns had many characters, and the town I lived next to had its share, and I don't remember any conformists. I don't say characters in a negative tone like some do. I like them. They aren't fakes. Usually what you see is what you get. This brings me to Pat on Track. I will not use last names for fear of some thinking I am being disrespectful, which I am not, and I like and respect all in this story. Pat was a hard-working and talented man. He reminded me of Jiggs and Maggie in a Jiggs and the Funnies. I got to know him by picking me up when I was thumbing to work. At about 14 to 16 years old, I set up duck pens most nights from 5 to 12 at the bowling alley in another town, Mount Jackson. Pat would happen along and pick me up. He always had an interesting look about him. He kind of leaned over as he drove, with his hat on sideways. He had funny stories to tell as he rolled a perfect cigarette as we drove. Amazing. Of course, the speed limit was only 35 miles per hour back then. I remember holes in the floorboards that could be used to spit tobacco juice if one so desired. National Bohemian and Pabst Blue Ribbon beer cans. I like Pat, and I think he liked me. This painting, tells of just one of Pat's adventures. I did not witness the event, but it was told to me, and of course, everyone in a small town finds out about almost everything. I personally know that when one has an unusual happening, they never let you forget. It was all in fun, but you'd better know how to laugh at yourself when others laughed at and with you. Well, one night Pat was back in the foothills of the West Virginia mountains drinking White Lightning with his friends. Sometime in the middle of the night, he decided to head home. I was told that it was around 1 a.m. His route home took him on a rural road to US 11, where he was supposed to turn left. But about a quarter of a mile before US 11 was a railroad track running parallel at that point to 11. When Pat came to the track, he turned left onto it, thinking he was on US 11. It could have been foggy, plus the White Lightning might have struck him. So now Pat is straddling the track and the railroad ties are giving him a really rough ride. Later he said at first he thought that the lousy state road department had been working on US 11 again. Then, when he realized that he was on track, it was too hard to back all the way off, and very, very high, long truss that spans a gorge and water at the edge of town. Now, walking home are Cue Ball, Big Tom, and Little Chippy getting a shock as they see headlights bouncing coming toward them. Pat calmly drives his car off at the smooth road crossing and finds his way home. The next day, as word spreads, Pat, as the lightning cooled down, tries to recall details and takes kidding in stride. I use my art to relive and remember others.